Hey everyone, welcome back for another deep dive.
Mm-hmm.
Today, we're getting, well, kind of lexical, I
Like
guess.
lexical,
Yeah,
yeah.
basically, we're going to be diving deep into the world of words and all that.
Oh, cool. Like how they impact us.
Exactly. It's kind of wild when you think about it. Like, just one word, right?
Mm.
One single word can totally shift your whole mood, you know?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Or even, like, make you decide something. It's pretty powerful stuff.
Absolutely.
So today, we're going to unpack all that, how words can shape, like, how people see us and each other, first impressions and all that.
Mm-hmm.
But also, like, how those casual words, those slang terms, the stuff we throw around every day, how those can actually build trust and understanding.
Right.
We've got some pretty awesome sources lined up, so let's just dive right in, okay?
Sounds good to me.
So something that really struck me from our reading, prepping for this, was how we often just don't realize how strong language is,
Yeah, it's true.
It's like the core of how we think and connect, right?
Yep.
And even how we see ourselves, which I think is super interesting.
Yeah, it's like the foundation of our identity in a way.
Totally. And our sources really hit on that. They talk about how the words we use every single day, they actually reveal a whole lot about us.
Oh, for sure.
I bet you've experienced this too,
Oh,
right?
absolutely. Countless times.
Like that moment when someone just nails it,
Yeah.
Uses the perfect word and you're like, whoa, this person gets me.
Totally. It's like they've unlocked some secret code.
Exactly. And our sources, they're like laying out the code book,
Yeah, for sure.
Like our word choices, they can signal so much from like where we went to school or, our background to like our personality. Like, are we serious? Are we goofy? All that.
Right, right. Like think about someone who's always dropping all this technical jargon.
Uh-huh.
They might seem super smart, but also maybe a little bit, I don't know, intimidating.
Oh, totally. Totally. Makes you feel kind of dumb sometimes.
Right. And then you have someone who uses, like, humor, throws in some slang.
Yeah.
They seem way more relatable, right? Like someone you could actually hang out with.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
It's like, who do you want to grab a coffee with,
Exactly.
This totally reminds me of this one time, actually. I was at this, like, big tech conference, right?
Yeah.
And I felt so out of my depth. Everyone's throwing around these crazy buzzwords, and I'm like, what are these people even talking about?
I can imagine.
So you know what I did? I started using the buzzwords too. Like, total fake it till you make it, right?
No way.
And the crazy thing is, people actually started taking me seriously.
You're kidding?
Nope. It was so ridiculous. But it just shows you how powerful language can be. Like how people perceive us. It's wild.
It's totally a performance, right? We're all playing roles to some extent.
Yeah, and our words are like the costumes and the
It's
script.
a perfect analogy. And speaking of fitting in, connecting with people, our sources talked a lot about colloquialisms.
Yeah. They were big on those. Like saying that casual language can actually build trust, which I thought was really interesting.
Yeah, me too.
Why do you think that is? Like, why would slang make us trust someone more?
Well, there's some research on this, actually. Apparently, certain types of colloquialisms are really effective, like using humor or self-deprecating stuff,
Right.
It can make people, like leaders or whoever, seem more human, more approachable.
Yeah, you don't want to talk to someone who's like all stiff and formal all the time.
Right. It's like they're not letting you see the real them.
Makes you wonder what they're hiding. Right?
Exactly. So using colloquialisms, it's like a signal that you're willing to be vulnerable, to be authentic.
I like that.
And that authenticity, that's what builds trust and connection.
I actually had this experience when I moved to a new city.
Oh, tell me about it.
I felt so lost, like I didn't belong anywhere
Right.
until I started picking up the local slang.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and suddenly I felt like I was in the loop, part of the inside joke.
It's like a secret handshake.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
It's amazing how language can do that, like bridge those gaps and make you feel like you belong.
Really is. And speaking of bridging gaps, connecting, our sources also talked about how words can impact our emotions and actions.
Yeah, they pose this question. Do words have the power to change how we feel or what we do?
Heavy stuff, right?
For sure. And I think the answer's got to be yes. Like 100% yes.
No doubt about it.
Think about it, like those times when someone's words just hit you, right?
Yeah.
Maybe a teacher who believed in you when you didn't believe in yourself.
Or a friend who, like, knew exactly what to say when you were down.
Yes. It's like those words, they just stick with you,
Yeah.
shape who you become.
Totally. And it's not just the nice words, right? Like, think about the opposite.
Oh, yeah.
Mean comments, insults, those can stick with you too, unfortunately.
Oh, yeah, they can really do damage.
For sure. It's like words can trigger these super intense emotional responses in us, both good and bad. And you can see that playing out everywhere, right? Like, history is full of examples.
Oh, yeah.
Like powerful speeches that inspired whole movements.
Or, unfortunately, propaganda that led to terrible things.
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword. But it just shows you, like, words are not just sounds. They have real power.
No doubt. And, speaking of powerful words, there's this one phrase that I always struggle with.
Oh, what is it?
I don't know. So I hate saying it.
I get that.
But our sources, they actually talked about how I don't know can be a good thing.
Oh, interesting. How so?
Like they said, it can be a sign of strength, not weakness,
Yeah.
because it shows that you're humble, that you're willing to learn.
Makes sense. It's like owning up to what you don't know instead of pretending.
Exactly. And it can open up all these possibilities for growth and collaboration. Like, instead of being like, I know everything, you're saying, hey, let's figure this out together.
Totally. It's way more inviting, right?
For sure. And speaking of figuring things out, something else our sources brought up that I thought was super relevant is how technology is totally changing the way we use language.
Oh, yeah. Huge topic, right?
It's like every day there's a new acronym or emoji or slang word. It's kind of overwhelming, to be honest.
I feel that, but it's also kind of cool, right? Like, language is constantly evolving, adapting.
That's true. It's like we're watching it happen in real time.
Exactly. And technology, it's like sped up the whole process,
For sure.
which has its pros and cons, right? Like, on one hand, it's amazing because everyone has a platform to share their voice now.
True.
But on the other hand, all these new words and ways of communicating can lead to, like, misunderstandings, especially between generations.
Oh, totally. Like, I show my mom a meme, and she's like, what is this?
Exactly. It's like we're speaking different languages sometimes.
It kind of makes you wonder what language will even look like in the future,
Yeah, right? Will we even be able to understand each other?
I mean, I hope so.
I think we'll be fine. Language is pretty adaptable. But it is something to think about.
Absolutely. And it all ties back to what we were talking about earlier, right? About how words reveal so much about us, where we come from, how we think.
Totally. It's like a snapshot of our culture at any given moment.
That's a good way to put it.
And, speaking of how words reflect us, our sources made this one final point that I thought was super interesting.
Oh, yeah, what was it?
They said that our identity shapes our word choices more than our words shape our identity.
That's deep.
Right. It's like, while our language definitely shows who we are, the words we use over and over, they can actually change how we think and act.
Oh, like rewiring our brains almost.
Kind of. Like, think about positive self-talk. If you keep telling yourself you're capable and strong, eventually you might actually start believing it.
That makes sense. And the opposite is true too, right? Like if you're constantly putting yourself down.
Exactly. It can really erode your self-confidence.
Wow. So it's like words have this power to create reality in a way.
In a way, yeah. It's pretty powerful stuff.
It really is. So as we wrap up this lexical deep dive, I want to leave you all with a thought, okay?
Okay, hit us with it.
If words are this powerful, right? If they can shape how we see the world, how we feel, even who we are, then what kind of world do you want to create with your words?
Oh, that's a good one.
Right? Like, think about it. How can you use your words to build connections,
Yeah.
to express yourself authentically, to make a positive impact?
Powerful stuff to ponder.
For sure. It's something I'm going to be thinking about a lot, and I hope you all will too. Until next time, everyone.
See you later.